What's going on, family and friends? Thank you for watching yet again. This is My Thoughts Uncut. I'm your host, Terrence Manning. We're going to bring Brandon Johnson into the front of the line for accountability. Yes, he is failing Chicago for his budget failures that lead to a lower credit rating for the city of Chicago, to scandal within his administration, and his entire EDU resigning. So, we're going to go down the timeline of how he's failing this city. Let's take a look.
The city official in charge of some of Chicago's biggest festivals abruptly resigned. That same official we've been asking questions about for months.
NBC5 investigates requested documents related to Clene Hedspeth, the former commissioner of the Cultural Affairs and Special Events known as DCASE. And we uncovered allegations of discrimination, harassment, and more. Our political reporter, Mary Nahern, joining us in studio now to break down what happened. Marianne?
Allison and Stefan, Clene Hedspeth is a year and a half as the head of DCASE was marked by turmoil. Back in April, we reported on the letter of concern from more than 100 artists. They were worried about her leadership. We now know in September, HR found Hedspeth violated city policy. She resigned less than 2 weeks later. The Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, called DCASE, puts on Taste of Chicago.
So they put on special events and affairs. Like, why not just help out the city of Chicago in another way? Like, you have the people in Chicago that are struggling. Why not focus your energy more so on making it safer, battling crime? But you want to have events and stuff like this where Chicago is the mecca of criminals.
Blues Festival, and so many other big Chicago events. In March 2024, Mayor Brandon Johnson tapped his longtime friend, Clene Hedspeth, to lead it. She left less than 2 years later and is now on the city's do not hire list. During her tenure, 29 employees left the department, including 7 deputy commissioners.
Jesus Christ. This woman is on the do not hire list. She must have been the most awful, doing the most egregious things while she was working for the city of Chicago.
Through an open records request, NBC5 Investigates learned HR began investigating in February. A former employee complained Hedspeth made, quote, humiliating and demoralizing comments about their culture.
Whoa. Brandon Johnson said that the city of Chicago is about all cultures, yet the person that he picked to lead this administration in that particular field is discriminating against people and their culture.
As DCASE prepped for city council budget hearings last year, Hedspeth asked the employee to wear, quote, traditional cultural clothes in council chambers and, quote, put on a thick accent so it's hard to understand you. Hedspeth later told HR those comments were a joke. Though the documents are heavily redacted, HR found she engaged in age-based harassment, telling an employee not to have gray hair when going to the 5th floor of City Hall, where the mayor's office is.
Wait a minute.
Not to have gray hair when going to the 5th floor of City Hall, where the mayor's office.
She instructed one of the employees to not have gray hair when going to the 5th floor to Mayor Johnson's office. What kind of crazy shit is that? How can you even tell someone to control the color of their hair when it's naturally turning gray? You want them to go and dye their hair? What? Do you know how dumb this is? So this woman was only at this job for, it seems like, a year and a half, and she created this much chaos? Jesus.
Other claims include making comments about an employee's sexual orientation and disregarding their pronouns. HR investigated the claims and found that as a result, she violated the Equal Employment Opportunity Policy.
So the same thing that Brandon Johnson harps on when it comes to the people of Chicago being all one culture and no one judges anyone, especially with their sexual orientation, this lady is doing the opposite of what he's preaching. I mean, she might have seen what he's getting away with, so maybe she's doing the same thing or did the same thing to her former employees. Man, this is nuts.
When asked about comments Hedspeth made about her sex life, as well as asking about an employee's sexual preferences and whether they would have an affair with a married person, Hedspeth
What? What is?
told HR sexual preferences and whether they would have an affair with a married person. Hedspeth told HR the conversation happened prior to this person working for the city and called them a, quote, disgruntled employee.
This woman was not only harassing people sexually, she was a goddamn freak. Why are you asking about if you would do something, whether or not you're married? What is going on in Chicago? What the hell is this? This woman is asking about sexual orientation and then asking about whether or not you engage in sexual activities if you're married or not, like a hypothetical question.
HR interviewed Hedspeth twice during its investigation, both times with a lawyer present. Hedspeth left the second interview and said she would not return to answer more questions.
Of course not.
Investigators say they did not get to ask her about allegations of disability harassment and retaliation. Mayor Johnson's spokesperson tells us Hedspeth resigned before she could be fired, and their office followed HR's recommendations, including placing her on the do not hire list. Meanwhile, Hedspeth's spokesperson says in part there are inaccuracies and omissions in the report, and she's confident the facts will come to light through a legal process.
No, I know it's innocent before guilty, but that is way too many detailed things that was documented and HR questioned her about, and then she didn't even want to talk on the last interview. She's like, peace out, I'm out. Like, my lawyer advised me to no longer have a conversation with you. This is crazy. We're going to look at Brandon Johnson's failures for budgeting yet again, and how the city's credit is lowered yet again.
Good afternoon, Mayor Brandon Johnson spent over 3 minutes defending his 2026 budget plan.
Even though there's a warning, it could lead to the city's credit being downgraded. Tia's back to explain why the mayor says the rich should pay more. Tia.
That's exactly what he said, and he was very candid about what he had to say.
Why is that the only solution this man has? He only has the solution that the rich pay, the rich pay, the rich pay. Do you know how to budget the city correctly? Other than saying the rich has to pay, can you have some other problem-solving skills when it comes to this budget? Can you stop blaming the people that are actually providing the jobs for Chicago citizens? The rich are providing the jobs. They're doing their part. They're paying most of the taxes. Stop consistently saying the rich has to pay. Come out and have some critical thinking, problem-solving skills. Because if this is all you have, is that when the budget is so high and you can't figure it out, you just attack the rich, they're not going to stay in Chicago. That's why they're leaving.
Earlier this year, Chicago's credit rating was knocked down a notch, a signal to investors that the city may struggle to meet its financial obligations. The mayor says that's exactly why he's pushing for new progressive revenue sources and says financial problems already existed well before he took office.
Securing revenue from areas where our economy is shifting, which the social media tax is one of those areas that I believe that will ensure that we generate more progressive revenue to deal with the structural damage that I inherited.
Mayor.
Okay, let's give you the benefit of the doubt and say you inherited it, but you have increased the budget deficit by an enormous amount. So now you are probably the problem. And saying that you're just going to start taxing left and right, the people of Chicago are going to suffer, not the rich. They're leaving.
Brandon Johnson is defending his more than $16 billion budget plan, even as analysts warn it could put Chicago's credit rating at risk. The mayor is pushing a first-of-its-kind social media tax, part of several new revenue proposals aimed at what he calls, quote, fairness. That includes a community safety surcharge, a $21 per month head tax on large employers, and higher fees on cloud-based services. Critics say those measures could drive jobs and innovation right out of the city of Chicago, calling it a move that could make the city less competitive. Johnson insists, though, the plan is about long-term stability, not short-term pains.
He has no idea what he's doing. Chicago is going downhill. Like she just said, you're driving innovation. You're driving people away from the city. You're continuously taxing them. Now it's going to be a content social media tax. It's just tax after tax after tax. He tried to hike up the property tax not too long ago, and then he got denied numerous times. So I've done videos on this guy before, and each time all he says is he's going to tax the rich, and then when he can't get that accomplished, it's going to trickle down to the middle and lower class citizens in Chicago. That's what's going to happen. We're going to take a look at how he failed to keep his Board of Education intact, and he claimed it was a rumor, but no, my friend, it was not.
Just to follow up on that, the reports are that as many as several of the CPS board members are thinking about resigning. Do you expect some of them to resign? And 6 months before a new school board, a hybrid school board comes in, why would they do that?
I guess that's the nature of Chicago, where there are a lot of rumors. There was a song about that too, Paris. Do you remember the name of that song, Paris? Look at all these rumors. It's okay. You can Google it. But
what the fuck was that? This guy, how did he become mayor?
I don't live in that space, because it distracts us from what we really have to do. Right? So here's the thing. How about I do this for you? So you don't have to live in rumors. How about we just live in the truth? And here's the truth. I'm going to do whatever is necessary for the people of Chicago when it comes to our public education system.
That got creepy. And he didn't really answer the question. He kind of skated. But to answer that question, since he didn't, this is what happened.
Messages left for the school board president and multiple board members were not returned today. And so we haven't heard directly whether they resigned in protest or perhaps were forced out. Regardless, this action unsettling to many in the district.
Do you see what that says? It says all Chicago public school board members resigned. That's not by chance. That's not a coincidence. They resigned because of Brandon Johnson. And they know what he is trying to accomplish, and they are not for it. So that was a huge sign. And this was a year ago. That was a huge sign of things to come in Chicago. I mean, if you didn't see it before when he first became mayor, come on, guys. The citizens of Chicago, wake up. He's not the mayor for you. He's been mayor for what, 3 years now? I would say 2-3 years. And he has not done anything to make that city safer, to make that city have some kind of revenue coming in at a large amount of revenue coming in. He has all his resources, your resources, going to illegal immigrants. He's more concerned about them and criminals than he is about the actual hardworking class of Chicago. That's what it is.
On the near west side, CPS families reacting to the news with surprise and confusion.
Why? That's it. Why?
It potentially has ramifications down all the way to the student level. It'd be great to know what exactly happened behind the scenes.
The announcement that the entire 7-member school board will be stepping down at the end of the month came in a joint statement with Mayor Brandon Johnson, who appointed them, and who will now select interim members until a new board partially elected in November takes office in January. Their statement saying laying a strong foundation for the shift is necessary to serve the best interest of students and families.
They're resigning. Maybe that's the message they're sending to say, hey, look, we're not going to come under the thumb of whosoever. If we can't do the job right, then we might as well resign.
And that's what it is. They know that they can't actually do their jobs right and help these kids in school get educated the right way. They are probably upset that you have all these illegal immigrant kids in there as well, which overpopulates the school. So they are dealing with all these issues, and Brandon Johnson's not budging when it comes to illegal immigrants being there. He's not budging when it comes to crime in the city. So they said, you know what? We're not going to deal with this. We're not going to stress ourselves out, and the final say is you, and you're not going to do anything to help these people of Chicago. I hope the people of Chicago wake up when you see this. I hope you do as much as you can to actually protest this way, the right way, at Brandon Johnson's office. Not protest for illegal immigrants. What? That's not helping you. That harms you, the city of Chicago. Please take heed. He is not for you. He is for illegal immigrants and for violence and for this. Hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I see you next time. Peace.